am I the jerk for refusing to stop saying my mother kidnapped my son? This post was posted by QWERTY98765432101. The original P is openworldliness732. Firstly, sorry this is on mobile and a throwaway. I, female 32, emigrated to my husband's 39 home country 5 years ago, and we have a beautiful son who is 3. She was dead against my moving and was even more upset when I had my son as a combination of her husband being terminally ill and the pandemic. She wasn't able to meet my son until this week, and she has complained bitterly about how we cheated her out of her special time with her first grandchild. I wasn't exactly excited about her coming to visit, but my husband convinced me. We should try to let our son have a relationship with her. Well, from the moment she arrived, she complained. Our house is too small, the garden is overlooked, etc. She complained my son doesn't speak much English, and she can't communicate with him. She complained that my son didn't want to hug her, and he wanted to stay with his parental grandmother. My son spit a drink, and she shouted at him. We are taking the gentle approach, so I told her not to do that. And why? And she lost it, telling me I have no idea how to raise a kid. I told her she needs to respect my methods or she can leave. She stopped, but the whole rest of the day you could tell she was furious. That night, my son was having one of those nights where he just isn't going to sleep through. My poor husband also had an IBS flare-up in the early hours, and we realized we had no medication. When my son settled at around 7:30, I decided to do a quick run to the 24-hour pharmacy to get some medication, leaving son and husband both asleep on the sofa. I was gone for 20 minutes. When I came back, my mother's rental car was gone, and so was my son, while my husband was still asleep. He was as shocked as I was. They had gone. Tried my mother's mobile, but no answer. After 45 minutes of me becoming increasingly hysterical, I called the police, who came out very fast, and when I explained as above, took things seriously. 6 hours later, my mother pulled back up, started telling the police, most adults know English here, that I had told her she could take my son out for the day. I am currently 6 months pregnant, and she said it must be pregnancy brain, which the police seemed to accept, and acted like the matter was closed, since my son was home safe, and showing everyone the toys he'd been bought. I told my mother to leave, and that I'd never want to see her again. She started telling family I kicked her out for no reason, she can't find a hotel. And they blew up my phone, to which I told them she had kidnapped my son, and I'm going to pursue this with the police. Now I am being called a jerk for saying my son was kidnapped, when he was just taken on a day trip by his lovely grandmother, and that an accusation like this could affect my mother's job as a nurse. Edit. Lots of people saying my husband shouldn't have pushed for this meeting. You are right, but I don't think he was wrong. He didn't force me to agree to it. I ultimately had the final say. And I get it. We are lucky. His parents are amazing. So despite knowing my mother isn't great, he didn't want our son to miss out. He expected some snide comments and awkwardness, but we were ready to ignore that for our son. Since my mother's normal weapon of choice is nasty comments, he wouldn't understand. So if he kept smiling, he wouldn't know. I feel grief that my son is going to miss out on having another grandmother, but she made her bed. Edit 2. She is now trying to change the narrative. I did not kidnap your son, but also if you think your husband could just sleep through an abduction, then your marriage is a sham. How could you be so reckless to leave your child with him? I cannot even with this. Update. Thank you for everyone for the support. It seems maybe I got a bit lost in my translation. Emotional, and the police spoke native language, and very fast, and with strong accents. The case isn't exactly drops. They have spoken to my mother and basically told her not to approach the house, or they will consider it a threat/harassment, and will act while they continue investigating. But they feel her leaving the country tomorrow is enough of a resolution. Apparently she has shown a ticket information. I'm still getting a lot of grief from family saying I should understand my mother is struggling after her husband died, and so on. This, again, is making me question my reaction. But I can't forget this. I'll reach out to relative embassies, but I feel like nothing will happen. My partner's family are being amazing, and looking after us all. Yeah, this mother is trying to gaslight her daughter, and she's just having none of it. And it's really sad that, families just devolve into this, but there's always that one crazy person in the family. But yeah, from what the OP said at the beginning of the post, I can see how she thinks her mother is controlling and, frankly, is a typical narcissist. But yeah, you just don't take a newborn baby away from both of their parents. Like, if they give you your child to watch and you have this agreement, like, obviously that's fine. But the fact that it was an emergency, things were already stressed out, she had to go to the pharmacy to pick up medication for her husband. And honestly, like, the mother bringing up about how, the grandmother bringing up that, oh man, your husband's so terrible because he didn't realize his child was getting abducted. Well, he was also having a medical emergency and was sleeping, and of course he trusts his mother-in-law to not do anything crazy, like take their son out of the home without telling either of them while they're having a medical emergency and it's a stressful situation. I understand the mother has gone through some hard things, the grandmother. I understand the grandmother must be going through some hard things too, but you just don't do that to new parents. Just the other world these people live on. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more stories like this. Thank you. Bye.